Hi, my learning buddies. So once again, welcome back to your own learning platform, Learn Forward. And I'm here with your grammar book, the Grammar Hub for Grade 6 by Feathercap. Are you excited for the journey ahead? So which chapter are we going to start today? This is chapter 9, in which we'll be learning about the different degrees of comparison in adjectives. So what are adjectives we have already learned in the previous session? Let's know about the degrees of comparison here. Underline the adjectives in the passage given below, which is a description of a famous Bollywood actor. So let's read about this. And we'll be underlining the adjectives. Hrithik Roshan, it is about him. Oh, everybody's favorite. I can see the smiles on your face. Hrithik Roshan is a handsome, well-built man having a perfect physique. So let's pick out the adjectives here. Yes, handsome, then well-built, okay. And we should have a hyphen here. We have already learnt about compound adjectives. Do you remember? So we'll be using a hyphen here. Well-built man having a perfect physique. Yes, perfect is also an adjective. He has green eyes. Okay, green is the adjective. Lean and long face. Okay, so we have these two adjectives here with well chiseled looks. So well chiseled is again the adjective. He has protruding ears, fair complexion. So protruding and fair, thick black. Again you have adjectives. Yes, enviable physique. Okay, we have just read about the word enviable in formation of adjectives. Good, you remember that. With rippling biceps. Okay, flat tummy. Fine, flat is also adjective. Let's go ahead. And a six-pack abdomen. Okay, fine. You are finding this interesting, right? Getting to know about your own favorite film star. Yes, he is light-footed and a superb dancer. Yes, superb. Next, his infectious open smile. So we are talking about smile. Infectious open. Okay. Aren't you missing on something? His is the possessive adjective here, children. So his is also an adjective. And respectful behavior. How is the behavior? Respectful. Perfect. Towards everyone, have endeared him towards one and all. Right? So these are all the adjectives we have underlined, and good job from all of you. So let's go ahead and we'll be learning about comparison of adjectives, the different degrees of adjectives. What are the different degrees of adjectives? When we are talking about an adjective for a single noun or pronoun, that is positive degree. Sometimes we might be comparing the same quality of between two different nouns. So when we are making comparison between two, we get the comparative degree. And when we just talk about whole lot and we are taking out one out of it, that is called the superlative degree, when we have more than two nouns that are being compared, right? So if you just look at these three girls and you talk about the height of these, and I say which one is the shortest. So what do you say? The one who has the least height is shortest. But when I say which one is the tallest, the one with the maximum height, so we say she is the tallest girl. Now, because we are talking about the three here. But if I talk about one individually, I'll be using tall. If I talk about two, I'll say she is taller, right? So these are the different degrees of adjective. Just let's read. Sonam is a tall girl. So when I'm talking about Sonam only, I say she's a tall girl. If I talk about Rashi and Sonam, I realize, oh, Rashi is taller, isn't it? So I'm making a comparison between two nouns for the same description, for the same adjective. So I use the word taller. And when I'm talking of all of three, I find that Mahima has the maximum height. So I say Mahima is the tallest of the three, right? So this adjective comes from the general builder, that when I just look at a girl, I find sometimes you say, oh, you are too short of your age, right? Sometimes you say you are a tall person. So it's just by looking at an average that we are making a comparison. There we are using a particular adjective but for a single noun, right? So these are the three different forms of adjectives and they are called the degrees of adjective. Talking about one, we have positive degree. Then talking about two, we have comparative degree. And when you have more than two nouns you are talking about, that becomes the superlative degree, children. You have already learnt about these three degrees in your previous grades also. Let's quickly recall. Positive degree is for 1, comparative is for 2, and superlative is for more than 2. And one more thing you have to remember is, after comparative degree, we use than, and before superlative degree, yes, you remember, that's nice. The is used before the superlative degree. So this is in nutshell about the 3 degrees of comparison in adjectives. Now going ahead, we'll be learning about how to form the different degrees of comparison. The first and foremost simpler rule is by adding ER and EST. The positive degree is, we add ER to the positive degree to get the comparative degree and EST to the positive degree to get the superlative degree, like bright, brighter, brightest, clever, cleverer, cleverest, kind, kinder, kindest, long, longer, longest. So you have just added ER, EST. Sometimes the positive degree already has E at the end. Can you just look at these words? Brave, fine, large. They already have E at the end. So we'll not be using E. We'll be using only R and ST to make them comparative and superlative. So just look at the spelling here. Brave becomes braver, bravest. Fine becomes finer, finest. Large becomes larger, largest. So we are not repeating the letter E here. Now, when you have Y at the end of your positive degree, we remember the rule, we have to drop Y and change it to I. Perfect. This we have done in nouns also, singular, plural. So, we'll be just dropping Y, replacing it with I. Then you will add ER, EST. So, busy becomes BUSIER, IEST, busiest, easier, easiest, happier, happiest. So what you see in all these words, Y is dropped out and then EREST is added after changing Y to I, right? So this is actually IERIEST. Now sometimes the positive degree is a small 3-letter word or a small short sound word. So in that, what you have to remember is you just have to double the last letter before adding EREST. Like big becomes bigger, but you are adding G. So repeating the last letter. Fat becomes fatter. So you are repeating T here. Similarly, hot becomes hotter. Here also we are repeating T before adding ER. Same we are doing in adding EST for the superlative degree. Got it? So let's learn more rules. Some adjectives where the sound is, where we have more than 2 syllables generally, sometimes with 2 also, but mostly we have more than 2 syllables. We do not add EREST, rather we use more and most before the positive degree. For example, here we have active, then this is beautiful, so 3 syllables, courageous, 3 syllables, difficult, again 3 syllables. So mostly for 3 syllables, but sometimes for 2 syllable breakup also we use more and most. So it becomes active, more active, most active, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful, courageous, more courageous, most courageous, difficult, more difficult, most difficult, handsome is more handsome and most handsome. So we have comparative and superlative degrees by using more and most. When, let's repeat, when the word has a breakup of two or more, right? These are called syllables. In how many parts, in how many different sounds you can break your word, that gives you the number of syllables. Now coming to next is, sometimes we have the words that totally change. They do not use any of the rules that we have learned. So they just totally change in their form, like bad, ill or evil. These are the adjectives, and they turn to worse in comparative degree and worst in superlative degree. Similarly, good and well change to better and best. Little becomes less and least. Late becomes later, latest. Also, it changes to later, last. What is the difference? When we are talking about time, it becomes later. I'll come later. That means you are giving the reference of time. Not now, but then I'll get a bit late. So it becomes later when we are referring to time, and then later and last when we are talking about position. So if I say you are sitting at the last seat, so that is telling the position. So it takes this form when we are talking about distance or position rather. Coming to next, much, many, both of these are used for, one is for quantity, one is for number. But then when we talk about comparative and superlative, it is the same for both. It is more and most. Coming to next is old. It takes the form older, oldest. Also it takes the form elder, eldest. What is the difference, children? Elder, eldest is used only in the context of people, and there also when you have the blood relation. That means it goes only with the siblings, not even with the cousins. So you can say my cousin is older than me, but then when you talk about your own real brothers and sisters, you say she is my elder sister. Okay, so this is the difference. And going ahead, we have some more words. Far becomes farther, farthest also when we talk about distance, and far turns to further, furthest when we talk about the position, right? So this gives the difference. Coming to next is in. In becomes inner and inmost or innermost. Both are correct in superlative degrees. Out becomes outer in comparative degree and outermost in the superlative degree. Up becomes upper and upmost or uppermost. Both are correct, just like we have for in, inmost and innermost. Similarly, for up, we have upmost and uppermost. Both are correct adjectives in superlative degrees. I hope this much is clear to you. Okay, let's move ahead now. We have the rules for using degrees of comparison. For elder, eldest, I have already told these are used for person, that too for blood relations, only for siblings. Not even, you don't use for blood relation, you don't even use these words for your parents. Okay, but then it is better used only for siblings. My elder sister is a doctor, so she is your sibling. Coming to next, we use older for people also, and we use them for buildings, places also, for non-livings also. So Hitesh is older than his sister Ria. Yes, this what you have to see is older, oldest can also be used with siblings. Elder, eldest cannot be used anywhere else. But older, oldest you will be using when you see that the word is following than, right? Elder and eldest do not follow these words, right? So we say she is elder to her sister, to her brother, like that. So than is always after older. Similarly here, he is older than I am. So you see here than is written. That means will not use elder here. Older, oldest, they can also be used both for people and houses. I have just told Sheila is the oldest girl in the class, and then this is the oldest house in our colony. So we are using for person as well as for place which is non-living. Coming to next, than. I have already told that than is used after the comparative degree. This house is better is the comparative degree followed by than. And what one more thing you have to remember is two similar degrees cannot be used. Two comparatives, two superlatives cannot be used together. Like it is wrong to say Savita is more prettier. More is also comparative degree and prettier is also comparative degree. So we cannot use both comparative, two comparatives together. So it's wrong to say this. We should say Savita is prettier than Sunita. Sometimes when you have to emphasize, for emphasizing, you can use a positive degree with it. You can say Savita is much prettier than Sunita. So it is only to emphasize. Otherwise, going with the comparison, prettier itself means she is more, right? Next, Mount Everest is the most highest. Now see here, we are using two superlative degrees together, which is also incorrect. So Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world, right? So I hope this is clear to you. We cannot use two comparatives or two superlative degrees of the adjectives together. Now, there are a few adjectives in comparison. We use them for comparing, but they are not followed by than. Like we say inferior, superior, junior. So here they are followed by the preposition to. We say this cloth is inferior to that. See, already although we are making a comparison between this cloth and that cloth, but because we are using the word inferior, it will not be followed by than, it will be followed by to. This pen is superior to that. He is junior to Shyam. So for these words, even for senior also, it is followed by to. Right? So these comparatives are always followed by to, you have to remember. And there are words like each, every, either, neither. When they are used as adjectives, they take the singular noun with them because actually we are talking about them in individuality. So he gave education to each son. That means he had more sons, but then he gave to each. We are talking about them as individuals. So it will be singular. Every, again, we are not saying girls, we are saying girl. Every girl was awarded with a certificate. Either pen will do. Then neither team scored a goal. So we'll be using adjectives, these adjectives with singular nouns. I hope this is clear to you. Okay. So let's do an exercise here. Fill in the blanks with the correct degrees of comparison of adjectives given in the brackets. My house is dash to the school. Here we are talking about the distance here. So we are making a comparison. It will be closer to. It will not be closer than. We talked about inferior to, is superior, junior, senior. Closer is one of them, right? So we are using here the comparative degree. I am, if you do not use the word to here, then you will simply say close. You say my house is close, right? Near the school. That means, sorry, it's near. So it will be nearer, not closer. I'm sorry. Yes. And if to is not there, we simply say my house is near the school. Here it will be nearer, the comparative degree. Next, I am dash of the sisters. So we are talking about the siblings. So what will come? Yes, I am the eldest. Also you can write. You will have to provide the yourself. The eldest of the sisters. Please submit your assignments without far delay. Are we talking about time or we are talking about the distance? Time. So it will be far, further, without further delay. Farther is used for distance. Next, this is the dash book I have ever read. The is used, the is already given here. So which degree do you have to use? Superlative degree. Good. This is the most wonderful book I have ever read. Lead is dash than any other metal. Good. Comparative degree. Very good. Lead is heavier. Now it is Y ending. Can you see? So Y will change into I. Good. And then ER will come. Sachin Tendulkar is the. Now the superlative degree. Yes. Perfect answer is the best cricketer in the world. Now here's an exercise where you have to write the correct degrees of adjectives. Some are given, some are missing. So I hope this you can complete. We have already learnt about the 3 degrees of comparison for different adjectives. So I leave that to you. Now it's time to recall what we have learnt in degrees of comparison. The 3 degrees of comparison are positive, comparative, superlative degrees. So when we talk about 1, we use the positive degree. When we talk about 2, we use the comparative degree, and it is followed by the word than. And remember the words we have just discussed about superior, inferior, senior, junior, which are followed by 2. So there the comparative degree is followed by 2, not by than. And then we learnt about superlative degrees, where we are talking of more than 2 nouns, and the superlative degree is preceded by the. So we use the before the superlative degrees. So I hope this much is clear to you. So it's time to recall and reconnect to your learning through this exercise. Take the correct answer. Shivani is the dash of 3 sisters. So what are you going to use? We are talking about sisters. That means, yes, eldest. Good. Which of the following words is added before an adjective in the positive degree to form the comparative degree? To make comparative degree, what word is used? Much, more, most, or none of these? Yes, for comparative we use more. Next, the positive degree of better is, what is the positive degree of better? Good. Yes, good is correct. Next, well is also correct, but we have to pick out the word given here. Dr. APJ Kalam is a very dash person, is a very learned, because here we are already having most, more, must, right? So it is only very learned. I have not seen Dipesh look so dash before. That means never before. So look so sad before, right? Coming to next. Fill in the blanks in the following sentences with words from the box. Also name the degrees of comparison. So words are given to you here. Might be we can just replace some, and if it happens, we'll be just taking a note of all the possible answers. The old lady has seen dash days. So what type of days? Wisest, elder, experienced, useful, important, costlier, difficult, funniest, worse, brightest, longest, and better. So here the positive degree that goes seems to be difficult. So the old lady has seen difficult days. That means she has passed through many difficult times, right? They have taken the dash route. So what type of route do you think somebody would have taken? Longest. Okay. The is written here, so we'll be using the superlative degree. Mr. Goyal is the most dash lecturer. What most? Most wisest, experienced, useful, important, costlier, difficult, funniest, worse. So only experienced goes here. Next, the situation is dash, then I thought. So we are making a comparison here. The situation is how? Find out the comparative degree here. Yes, it can be worse also, and it can be better also. Let's see if we write here worse. Do we have the option to use better somewhere or worse again somewhere? We'll just go accordingly. Okay. So let us keep it in under consideration. This is your number 4. Next, this dress is dash than that. Okay, we are talking about cost. So it can be costlier. That is the perfect answer. Next, she is my dash sister. Perfect. Elder sister. So this is number 6. Done. He is the dash of all the clowns. We are talking about clowns. So superlative grows with, yes, they are funny people. So funniest. Where is it? Fine. He is the funniest of all clowns. Next, she is the dash student. What can it be? She is the wisest student. We are talking about intelligence, wisdom. Iron is more dash than zinc. So iron is more. What can it be? Useful or brightest or important Okay, it can be important also, it can be useful also. Again, just like 4, we'll be keeping this under consideration. Iron is more. This is number 9, right? So we just have an option here. Learning Chinese is more dash than learning English. It is more. Why is this is all done? Learning Chinese is more useful than learning English, do you think? Is it more important? I don't think so. Brightest will not come. Is better than learning English. We are giving importance to Chinese here. Okay, let's see what can be left. We'll be using that here. He is the dash of all in the office. He is the brightest of all in the office. That means very intelligent. No other invention is as dash as the invention of the wheel. So no other wheel, no other invention is as important because it has drastically changed life. It has brought the word closer, right? So it has shrink the word. Then we are left with, for this, 9 is useful. Learning iron is more useful than zinc. And for 10, learning Chinese is more better. But we cannot use two words together. So, is more, okay, difficult can come here. And then, yes, we had a choice here also. The old lady has seen. Better days will be your number 1. And learning Chinese is more difficult than learning English will be your number 10. That is why we mark them, just to see which only one option can go at some other place. The remaining will be replaced. So this is how we just conclude on the correct word in the blanks whenever the help box is given. Fine. I hope you have understood the importance of this now. Why we mark two answers for different sentences somewhere? Because 2 possibilities were there, right? So this was all in adjectives from my side. We'll be looking ahead for more interesting sessions ahead in language. Till then, happy learning, children.